that for $1.
Oh, yeah. See, we plan ahead. That way we don't do anything right now. Earl, explain it to me.
Now, say my name.
Welcome back, everybody, to another Dead Wire Live with Jeff and Kevin. We got a fun little setup for you this time, and I just want to recommend that you check in with us because we got some fun topics on store for you tonight. We have a fun guest. We got Steve from Too Much Scrolling. I'm bringing him on right now. Steve,
it's a lot
welcome
of pressure.
Aboard.
There's a lot of pressure, Jeff. I am not fun.
You're not? God damn it. Why did we bring you on to a previous podcast episode?
I am the voice of nothing. I am the voice of nothing, especially Saturday night, late Saturday night. Welcome to Suns and Shadows presents Dead Wire. That's all I know.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what we got for the topic anyway. And that's what we're just here to chill and talk about some common topics recently. And, most recently in the news, we lost a pretty good actor from one we grew up with. I know I speak for myself. I don't know about Kevin, if he grew up in that era or not. Yeah. You tell me. But we lost Carl Weathers recently. Steve, you got any fond memories of Carl Weathers and any of your favorite movies of his?
So Carl Weathers is certainly one of those actors that's been around for a very long time and has so many great credits behind him. I loved Action Jackson. I thought Action Jackson, that vehicle specifically for Carl Weathers, had something special. It was that 80s, buddy cop sort of film with that sly smile. And I don't mean sly because he was in Rocky. I mean Carl Weathers had something special, and Action Jackson, it got me just at the right time at the right place.
I couldn't agree more, because basically that's the first movie I ever remember seeing him in outside of, like, say, Predator. But I saw Action Jackson before I saw even Rocky or Predator. And so that was my introduction to him, because of also Vanity was in that movie. And everybody would recognize her for a couple of different reasons in that movie.
Couple reasons.
Just a couple perky reasons. But it's a fun action movie, surprisingly, and it's one of the best that he's ever done. I mean, yes, Rocky, you got Apollo Creed going on here, and you got like Predator, and any number of projects he's done through the years, all the way up to the most recent Mandalorian couple of seasons he's been a part of. He's been fantastic through and through, and I cannot get enough of the man. I'm sorry to see him go. Rest in peace. Condolences to the family, but he's got a career to be proud of. I wish he got more going on as a name value through like the 90s and the 2000s, and it didn't take him or the rest of us so long to get to that point where it's like he's a recognizable name that really did well in cinema.
Real consistency. Really, I can't name a bad Carl Weathers appearance on every TV show that he was on. He was on one episode of this and one episode of that, and he had that staying power. He was that football player turned actor. We've seen a few of those over the years, but he had something special. And as far as I know, no skeletons in his closet. There was nothing about Carl Weathers that came up that was like, oh no, we can't work with him. He was a genuinely good guy from everything I can tell.
Right. Now, Kevin, you have any favorite movies of his or any fond memories of his? What do you think of Carl Weathers passing?
Gosh, I've never seen Action Jackson.
What? You're fired.
It's
Action Jackson is his name.
Somehow that's always eluded me. I don't know how or why. I know I need to like rectify that, so I will, promise. God, he's always been Apollo to me. Always been Apollo Creed first. I saw Apollo. I saw Rocky, the first three, probably just as soon as part 3 came out, because I was born in 80.
Wait, he was in part 3? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he was.
Shit, I'm a horrible Rocky fan.
He was the coach. He was the corner man after Burgess
Okay.
Meredith passed away.
Oh,
Because Clubber Lang disrespected him too. And he's just kind of like, now hold the fuck on.
gotcha.
He's like, it's one thing to disrespect me, but you're also disrespecting my friend and this title and this sport. So he really came out in the Rocky series in that third movie as like the good guy that inspired Rocky at the same time, not just
Okay.
not just the opponent.
All right. Yeah, I guess I'm a horrible Rocky fan. I've only seen those movies a couple times, and I don't actually have them in my collection, so I'm a horrible Rocky fan, apparently.
I'll sit and watch Rocky on the edge of my seat like I'm really watching boxing, like I've never seen it before in the last 40 some years. Like
I've never watched boxing, so I'm totally screwed.
I know a lot more about wrestling than I know about boxing. I know nothing about boxing, and the drama of Rocky is much more like the drama of WWE than it is boxing. I don't know anything about boxing.
Yeah, both of us, Kevin and I, are more wrestling fans. Like, you ask us about Mr. T and WrestleMania, like 2 and 3 and whatnot, and with Roddy Piper and Cowboy Bob Orton. Now you're talking to me, bro.
It's true. We can tell you anything about those two matches.
The boxing match with Mr. T was crazy, but whatever.
Just all of those crossovers, all of the material where we get real athletes doing acting and actors doing real athletic things. I enjoyed all of those. The ones that worked, that is.
Yeah, and not all of them are like hit with anything. I mean, you got like I want to call him Big T, but you're talking about like Hightower from like Police Academy, who was fantastic in a lot of different things. Like, he had great comedic timing. You had Carl Weathers, who like basically was a badass in just about anything he was in. You had Mike Ditka, who even borderline was a comedian in a couple of sitcoms, for crying out loud. Like, some of these football players just, they figured it out somehow. And great on them, because they had long-lasting careers. Not all of them transitioned, though. I mean, you still got Peyton Manning, who's just doing commercials, and he can't transition to anything else.
He seems like he's on the precipice, though, right? He's always seems like
he's getting there.
He's getting there. He's gonna get there somewhere. He's gonna become the Dick Butkus on My Two Dads or something,
right?
Dick
Butkus.
You know that one?
Yeah,
My Two Dads.
Yeah,
I watched that growing up.
He's on there, and I can see Peyton Manning being the weird uncle. Oh, here's Uncle Peyton Manning walking in again. Shoot.
Oh no, we're getting a remake from Disney any second now. Oh my God, run for it, everybody!
Yeah, right.
Like, I think about Carl Weathers on Saturday Night Live. He did a great opening monologue. He had a fun little sketch about how everybody else in Predator has become a governor. Why doesn't he become a governor? Jeez, come on, everybody.
No kidding. The one most based of the actors couldn't become a governor.
Yeah, right? Like, he's probably the most like tame. Like you said, he's never in the news. It's like the tabloids.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like Sonny that got arrested several times during bar fights and all sorts of shit while in office.
God damn it, Carl! What was wrong with you? You couldn't get into a little more shit in your career. And
there you go. That's what keeps you out of the governor's office.
all that niceness.
All the steroids and doing all those Conan movies. Yeah, that fucked you up, dude. I'm kidding, everybody.
Conan.
Okay, in all seriousness, question for Steve. Why do you think he didn't become a more popular or recognizable name from his career from the early 80s till now? I mean, you think it was just product of the times sort of thing, or what do you think?
He's just one of those consistent actors. Every time I see him, I go, "Oh, look, it's Carl Weathers." When we get to Mandalorian, yes, Grief. What's the character's name? The character's name is Grief, but it's just Carl Weathers. It's just this guy who happens to be in a Star War. even your Star Wars. He's so consistent. He's such a nice, good person. Generally, he's a not the best actor. He's not the best action adventure hero, but neither was Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis was that same similar character, but he was able to bring enough of that comedy and that heart to his roles that he got something going. It's just the right place at the right time. It's so hard to guess the trajectory of a career, thinking through, when you are auditioning for a role, the people who are giving out roles are absolutely guessing at what's going to happen, how this movie is going to play out, how this TV show is going to work, and right place at the right time. But you look at all of the roles that he's had. Toy Story, my goodness, he's got so many different things where you go, that's
Right.
Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so recognizable as, what was it, Commander Carl?
Combat Carl, yeah.
I was going to say,
Carl.
I remember Carl. I don't know about the first part.
Yeah.
Like, it was so blatantly him. Like,
Mhm.
I did look it up on IMDb because I had to be sure, but it's like, you just knew.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and that's one of the things about him is like, his voice even is just comforting when you see him in a show. Like when he just randomly appears in a cameo, like he's just awesome to see. Like, that whatever you're about to see, that episode or that movie is going to be quality.
Then we can get to Happy Gilmore.
Oh, he was so freaking funny in that
Perfect.
movie. Oh my God. I will always have that movie in my collection just because of the Bob Barker stuff.
Mhm.
And then, Carl Weathers, and then, Adam Sandler. Like, it's one of those gems in the middle of time. It's in the bottle. I captured that lightning. It's not leaving the collection.
Such a good straight man to the ridiculousness of Adam Sandler.
Especially in ghost form.
Just you get the Star Wars Force Ghost that he now joins all of the other people that we lost from Star Wars, and now that's a thing.
Yeah, who was it? Him, Abraham Lincoln, the Gator, and somebody else. I can't remember who else it was.
That was fantastic. You can do it.
But I mean, who doesn't hear when they're practicing something? It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. Like, our generation, that's stuck in our heads now. And he's just pop culture. He's part of that pop culture that's always going to be stuck in our head, whether it be something silly like that, or you get Eye of the Tiger stuck in your head when you're going jogging or whatever.
Oh, Eye of the Tiger.
Do you want the gold record of Eye of the Tiger? It's up for auction at Heritage Auctions right now. The gold record, I believe it was in one of those restaurants, one of those themed restaurants, $625 for a framed gold record of the Eye of the Tiger.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not the worst price I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But
it's still kind of up there.
Yeah.
See if I can...
Well, Steve, while Steve's looking something up, I just want to point out, like, if you're looking for Action Jackson, highly recommend looking out for that Blu-ray or DVD. It's on Amazon. The Blu-ray is a little out of print, but the DVD is very easy to find. Still looks good on any Blu-ray or 4K player. Highly recommend somebody seek that out. Or if you want to find it on streaming, I'm sure it's out there somewhere because it's a Warner Brothers title. Might be on Max, might be on Prime. You might have to pay for it. Just don't go looking for it on, say, like Crunchyroll or Funimation, because you probably won't find it at all. Because they're yanking titles left and right.
Yeah.
But Action Jackson, great movie. We're talking about
say
Rocky.
great movie. No, let's not go overboard and say great movie, but it was the right movie at the right time. It was that action movie, 1988, very much that action movie of the time.
Well, when you pair it up with something, say, like Tango and Cash, you're looking at a fantastic double feature that night, because you basically get the two of the best freaking action-packed movie stars out there at that time, outside of Arnold. It's too bad Arnold wasn't willing to cross over with Stallone a little more, or you couldn't even get like Carl Weathers in a Stallone movie outside of like Rocky. but like Carl Weathers is like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon of that time, and you can't go wrong with like a Tango and Cash, Predator, Action Jackson, and of course Predator's the best of the bunch. So I can't lie. Those are my 3 favorite movies.
That's not bad. That's not bad. That's all pretty quality.
And look at those muscles, dudes. Oh, testosterone of the 80s.
The muscles. He had huge pectoral muscles.
Pretty much.
And Predator's always going to be one of my favorites as well. Even though like he's not a good guy in the movie per se, like he was still, you still felt bad when he got his arm shot off.
Right.
I mean,
you play the good shade of gray middle character in the movie without being fully bad, fully good. But by the end, when he was finally meeting his end, he became aware of like what was really going on and like, oh shit, we're all screwed.
Yeah, right. Oh gosh, all that Black Ops stuff that I was talking about before really is true. Whoops.
Oops. Prepare for Predator 2 because Danny Glover's taking over next.
There you go. Supposedly there's something coming up for Predator soon after Prey. After Prey did so well, they got some new plans for what Predator's going to come up with next. So stay tuned.
Wasn't it Prey 2 and they're sending it like a few years later or something? I thought I heard something about that, but
I had not heard that. We'll see.
I thought it was Pray Tell, and we were waiting to hear the news.
Kevin. Way to derail a conversation there, buddy.
Predator reads the news. I think that's a Futurama sketch.
You must be reading giantfreakingrobot.com or something like that. Pray tell.
My dad jokes are real.
Yes, they are. That's why I hired Kevin, and now he's fired again.
Oh man.
You know, I'd love to see like more in the universe. I'd like to actually see like if they're going to continue with the Predator movies or Prey movies, whatever universe they're going to continue in, that they reference like Arnold and like Carl Weathers' character. They loosely referenced the events of Part 1 and Predator 2. That gets hate. I like that movie just fine. It's after that it gets a little wonky with Alien versus Predators and shit, but you know, can't go wrong with Predator 1. That's like instant classic. I will watch that anytime I'm feeling like down at all, so that when it's over, I walk away feeling like a boss.
Kind of, yeah. Like I want to go outside and go kill something too.
Now, Steve, you were talking about like something more in Predator. Is that more of a movie or is it a TV show? That
I'm talking about nothing. I just saw a headline that said something about After Prey. I know nothing. I've come with no knowledge.
Yeah, because what I've heard is that there is going to be a second Prey movie, but it's being set like in a different time frame and in a different era. But nobody knows for sure. It's all just rumors and speculation. But they are moving forward with another Prey movie. Unlike Aliens, where they're moving forward with not only Alien Romulus, but an Alien TV show that's going to be on Hulu. So it's like, well, what the hell do we need to look forward to? Is one going to have to play off the other? Guess we'll have to wait and see about that one. But Alien Romulus is set between Alien 1 and Alien 2. I know we're kind of transitioning to another topic with that kind of question, but here we go with another. What are we doing with these franchises these days?
And do we need more franchises? Do we need to get back to good storytelling? That is one thing that I have been thinking about a lot lately is where's the good storytelling? Where's the character development? I just watched Bullets Over Broadway, the 1994. Yeah, that's digging deep. I know. Woody Allen. I do not like Woody Allen. I do not like Woody Allen movies. I like Bullets Over Broadway because it is the least Woody Allen movie ever, and it's just fabulous storytelling, great characters. If
Yeah.
you wanted to put on a musical on Broadway, but you couldn't do it because you didn't have the money, but this bunch of mobsters came to you and said, "We would like you to put on a musical. We would like this person to be in your show. Do you take the money? Do you sell out to the money to make it
Right.
happen?" And fantastic storytelling, great acting, and a cast of characters. I mean, an all-star cast. Bullets Over Broadway, 30 years ago. Fantastic film. That is my suggestion for Dark and Stormy Night.
Ooh, that's a good one. You know, man, the 80s and the 90s were some gems, especially the 90s. You forget about a lot of the movies that came out back then. And it's just too bad that a lot of that kind of like spirit, that creativity, that talent is just a little bit missing these days. It's very unfortunate because you look at the box office results, you look at some of these movies that are good movies, but they're just not performing as well as they probably should. But then you got these big budget movies that should be like overperforming and they're like drastically underperforming. It's like you're not even making half of your budget. What are you guys doing in Hollywood? It's Hollywood's eating itself. Other channels and websites cover this very well in depth. Love you, Nerdrotic. Love you, Film Threat, Chris Gore, all of that. You all cover this fantastically. Just a couple of fanboys over here, but like, man, Hollywood's just eating itself. It's hard to watch, but there is good stuff out there still.
We had Chris Gore on Too Much Scrolling a few weeks back when he came out with his documentary.
That
and,
was fantastic, by
yeah.
the way, Steve. That was a great interview.
He is a good guy to talk to about
Yeah.
all of this stuff. Pop culture, that has been my big question lately on social media is what is pop culture in 2024? What is culture in 2024? We're so fractionalized. We are so fragmented. Everybody
Yeah.
watches their little tiny little thing. And when the 12 and 13-year-olds in my class want to talk to each other about something, they have to take out their phones and show each other this footage first. Then they can talk about it. They don't have that, "Hey, did you
Yeah.
watch that thing last night?" On Monday.
Water cooler talk, as I call it.
Yeah, they don't even have water coolers.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we're a previous generation. We definitely grew up with like pre-internet. So when the internet goes down or the Wi-Fi ain't working, we know how to keep ourselves busy and find something else to do. Or we had these wonderful debates with each other. Like I remember in junior high getting into straight up argument fights about like Star Trek The Next Generation and what Data and Lore were doing in season 3 or season 4 and 5 of Star Trek The Next Generation. And then by the end of that 45-minute period of arguing, we're like, that's a good idea. Hey, we're still friends. And these days you can't even have that same argument about who's better, Data or Lore, or even who's the better captain, Picard or Kirk. People will just straight up like nuke you and be like, you're canceled because if you let Kirk, you're this or that.
And that's the difference between argument and debate. Debate is not argument.
Exactly. I love the debates. Like I loved debating with my friends, and sometimes it would get pretty heated, but by the end we were still friends. These days,
Wait a
you
minute.
can't
Let me
even
write
do
this
that.
down.
You
How
can't
do
even
you
say a
become a
comment on Twitter
podcaster?
without being like, "Hey, screw you, you're canceled." Like, what? What are you gatekeeping for, yo? It's just a TV show. MST3K said it best. It's just a TV show. Just relax. Doesn't mean you can't debate. Doesn't mean you can't talk about who's your favorite host. Doesn't mean you can't talk about this plot sucked, that plot sucked. Everybody's opinions are subjective. TV and film are subjective. There is nothing wrong with debates. That's all I got to say about that.
Thanks, Forrest.
You're welcome. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what kind of live cast you're going to get.
And those shorthand things that I can make a joke like "thanks, Forrest," and Kevin knows exactly what I'm talking about because we have those similar experiences.
Yes.
Obviously, there's lots of people in the world that didn't have the same experiences as we didn't watch the same Billy Zane movies. That's okay. That's fine. I can suggest some good Billy Zane movies for you. And
I'm the king of the world.
We were joking about Titanic before you got on the show.
Oh, that's okay. This is what I missed out on because my computer was crapping out before we were trying to start the show. I couldn't hear nothing. They were just talking and laughing, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I guess I got to restart like 5 times.
Just like in your house, we have a lot of fun without you, Jeff.
That's fine. That's fine. Because as far as Billy Zane goes, we're doing Phantom coming up in a few weeks, and I am excited for that.
Nice.
Well,
go ahead, Kev.
Oh, I was going to say, speaking of that, when you were talking about movies from the 90s, that's going to be part of not to pimp out what we're doing in the next 4 weeks. That's one of the few movies that were really good from the 90s. That was a superhero film that predated Blade. Like Blade is that movie that's like, oh, there were no good superhero movies before that. There were, they just weren't Marvel movies necessarily, or DC,
or any of those. They were based off of radio serials more than anything.
Yeah. So I mean, those were really good movies with really good actors, and gosh, they did predate Blade. They didn't have Lamagra in them, but you know,
some of them had some skeptical CGI in them. But Kevin likes to crap on Deep Rising a lot. But like Phantom, The Shadow, you got Darkman. They all had some odd CGI at the time, but they're all fantastic movies, and they're a product of their time. So you got to look at those with a different set of perspective and eyes, because that CGI was very early on. I can't exactly fault them for that one.
No, but see, there were movies being made that weren't necessarily remakes. Yes, we had the Shadow serials, but there was no Shadow TV show prior to that. There was no Shadow movies. Well, yeah.
Well, that was called Batman the Animated Series because
yeah, right.
Because Batman's modeled off the Shadow.
Yeah.
Even though they call him the Great Ghost in the actual show in the comic books.
Oh, but that was cool though. They even had Adam West voicing him.
That was dope.
Yes. But see, those are franchises that existed, that were able to be utilized and still be fresh and new. And that's something I think that the franchises that we're like constantly being bombarded with now are completely devoid of.
Yeah.
Not to mention the music on Batman the Animated Series. I just went to go see Animaniacs in concert with the guy that wrote the music for Batman the Animated Series, and fantastic. If you get a chance, Animaniacs in concert. Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche, the voices of Pinky and the Brain,
Maurice
sing along with the guy who wrote all the music, whose name still eludes me, which is totally terrible. I should absolutely have this man's name on the tip of my tongue, but I'm going to cheat and look it up and find his name, because he gives a great performance on stage alongside those two guys. Randy Rogel is his name. Randy Rogel, composer extraordinaire, performer extraordinaire. He is sitting there playing the piano with Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche, and what a great night of fun, nostalgia, and music. I can't tell you how much fun we had at Animaniacs in concert.
Oh, I think I could get my wife to that one. I'm definitely gonna see if that's coming near our area or not.
I'd be going by myself. I wouldn't take my wife to that. Like, she wouldn't want to go necessarily. That's like, cartoons aren't her thing. But I'd be the old man there by myself, like going. Of course,
that was the fun part. There were plenty of old men, and there were plenty of middle-aged people, and plenty of little kids with their little stuffed Animaniacs too, and they were having fun with the music. This is the joy of music, plus the joy of cartoons.
Yes,
right, and a good nostalgia trip for the older generation to bring their kids or their grandkids and introduce them to something like this, and then, oh hey, where did this come from? Oh hey, I have this old DVD set. You want to watch these with Grandpa or your dad? Yes, let's watch. It's like that's how you can introduce a new generation to these old properties.
Mm-hmm. Not with my fucking kids. Like, I try throwing on He-Man, and they're like, ew.
Where's RoboCop?
Kinda. Like my son will watch Rob's documentary about He-Man, but won't watch He-Man.
Which is a great documentary, by the way.
Yeah, like I don't get, like, that's Daddy's friend, right? Like, my kids don't like exploring older DVDs necessarily. Like Ghostbusters, they're totally down with. Okay. Magical Miracle. Speaking of old cartoons, I just picked up Beetlejuice from Shout Factory. It's going out of print soon.
Ooh, good to know, everybody.
That cartoon is everything that made like Saturday mornings the bomb. Like it was from a movie that had no business being a Saturday morning cartoon, and they took that idea and made a cartoon that was actually somewhat better than the movie in a lot of ways. Like it was sustainable for 3 or 4 years. My kids fucking loved it, like instantly, but will not watch the movie.
Well, hot take. I like the cartoon. I don't like the Michael Keaton movie. And I'm not looking forward to the second movie.
I can't say that I am either.
I'll take Michael Keaton any day of the week. So
I know I like Michael Keaton, but after RoboCop remake, I'm like, oh man, dude, I can't trust your choices anymore. Well, I'm kidding. He was fine as the old man. The movie didn't work as a whole. That's all.
Yes. My problem with him isn't RoboCop or anything like that. He did a fine job. He was a good two-faced CEO, except for that weird character change at the end. It was the returning as Batman for the Flash movie. Like, you're in a movie with a pedophile. Like, maybe you should not do that. Like, we've waited 30 years for this. Maybe this is not the opportunity to do that for. Like,
you do understand they didn't know that going into the movie, and the movie was in production for like 9 years.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The movie
it was just
almost
statutory
twice.
When he did it. Then
okay, Kevin.
I have not seen this film because of the problem with the main star for sure.
With
yes,
Ezra.
I would like to see. I would love to see Michael Keaton as Batman. I have not seen this film for those challenging reasons.
Well,
Same.
Steve, like I told Kevin, if you want to skip most of that awkward stuff, just go straight forward to about 52 minutes when Michael Keaton first appears and just watch from that point to the end of the movie, because that's the best part of the movie, straight up. You're skipping half the movie. I'm just saying. I mean, I like the movie. I understand the hate on Ezra. I don't like him either. And him acting against himself was like nails on a chalkboard for me. But once Batman and Michael Keaton shows up, it's a different freaking movie.
Okay.
And he becomes his own side character in his own Flash movie, which should never happen in a Flash movie. If you're the main star, if you're the main character and you're in the Flash movie and you're the Flash, you should be the star, not Michael Keaton and not Supergirl, because they basically took over from that point forward. That's why I like that movie, because it was less on Ezra and more on the ancillary characters that helped bring the plot up and then carry it through to the end. And the ending is actually pretty decent as far as, I know you can hate Ezra, that's fine. But the final scene and how it ended with him and his mother works. When they introduced the other Batman at the end, I kind of was like, oh, that's not what I was expecting, because James Gunn decided to change things around and put in a different Batman from a different Batman film.
So it was better than Ezra?
Yes.
Pun!
High five to Steve. Jackpot City. But, it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie, but I enjoyed it enough. I mean, and Michael Keaton sells the movie by himself. It's proof positive that we should be getting a Batman Beyond movie or a Batman 3 with Tim Burton directing him.
For sure. I would really like a Batman Beyond right now. I think the water has been ready for Batman Beyond since we got the Spider-Man with what's the name of the character in the Spider-Man, the young kid.
Oh, Tom Holland?
No, the young boy that's Spider-Man.
Peter?
Oh, Oh, my poor
Miles
brain.
Morales.
Miles Morales. Since Miles Morales, we now are ready for Batman Beyond, and I am ready for a older, wiser Bruce Wayne giving up the
Yeah.
reins to a younger man. I'm ready for that. I
Right.
don't know
And it's
why.
perfect.
I don't know why I would be ready for that in my life.
Right. Well, no, I feel the same way. It's very hard to like understand like what they're trying to do with Batman these days because we got The Batman, which is a good movie, but it was about 30 minutes too long. And you had a good actor. You didn't really play to his strengths like at all. Everybody calls him Twilight Boy.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, no, he was good, but they didn't give him the best script to work with. But we're getting a Penguin show, and who knows what's going on with the Batman Part 2, whether that's going anywhere because of James. DC's just a complete train wreck in
Oh, Warner
general.
Brothers. Warner
And
Brothers.
Warner Brothers, like they don't even know what they're like. Kevin, we're gonna maybe go ahead and shift on, but like what the hell they're doing with DC? Like James Gunn, if he does not hit a grand slam with the first Superman movie, this thing is fucking dead.
Yep.
There ain't no future for DC. This is a bad situation for him, and he can't keep his mouth shut. Like, oh, we're going to cherry pick characters from the DCEU, and we're going to keep them in the new DCU, but we're also rebooting, but we're also doing this, and we're also going to give you 40 different characters in this new Superman Legacy movie. Oh, and by the way, here's a great cast for the movie, but we have like about 40 different characters going on. What are you doing, dude? Focus on Superman. We haven't had a good goddamn Superman movie. I liked Man of Steel. It wasn't great though. But we haven't had a good Superman movie in like 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, if you're starting with Superman, focus on Superman.
Focus.
This is not rocket science unless you're building a rocket. This is Superman. Why are you writing for a Justice League movie that's not coming for the next 10 years?
Right.
And then the next movie's The Authority? I mean, I don't know The Authority. Kevin's more of the comic book guy than I am. What are you doing setting up The Authority, which is like the boys of the DC? So James, I don't know what Gunn's doing. Like, I like him as a director. I like Brightburn. I like Slither. I even like fucking Peacemaker. But like, dude, you gotta hit a grand. This has got to be the best Superman movie ever made, or the DC is done. And this is not opinion. This thing's got to make like a lot of fucking money, or it's dead.
I don't have any optimism when it comes to a new Superman movie, a new Batman.
I did for a minute, but it's out the window.
Like the last 10 years have taught me anything. It's that movies being made today aren't necessarily being made for me. The new Batman movies, the new Superman movies, those are made for a younger audience that are like recognize characters differently. Like Superman snapping Zod's neck. Yeah. Not necessarily my thing. James Gunn makes awesome movies, and you're right though. He can't keep his mouth shut, and he has a lot of crazy ideas, and I don't know how long David Zaslav is going to put up with that shit.
He's got a 2 or 3 year contract as head of DC, so we'll see how that works out.
Well, that's all good and fine, but just because they're paying him to do something doesn't mean that they have to like make the movies that he's wanting to make.
Wait, you're saying that they can make a movie then throw it away?
Oh well,
how dare you?
Oh,
transition.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Ouch! Right in the childhood.
Right in the nads, Kevin.
Ooh.
So, for those playing at home, David Zaslav, the CEO of, I think he's CEO of, what was it, Discovery? And now
Warner Brothers Discovery.
He watched The Producers one too many times and had this great idea.
Kevin, you're killing me.
If you spend a fuck ton of money making a movie and get none of that money back for any reason whatsoever, insurance will be double your payment
Mhm.
or your investment. And so it's like every great movie they've had, it's like, I don't care. It's not going to come out. It's springtime for Hitler is what they're doing. This new movie that had the Roadrunner and Coyote and versus Acme.
Coyote versus Acme.
Was Cena in that, or was Cena in another movie that got shelved?
Nope. Cena's in the Cody versus Acme.
Yeah, like that was supposed to be really good, shelved.
Mhm.
Batgirl, they raked across the coals.
Mhm.
After the screenings were saying, no, it was actually pretty good. No, then they went through and said, oh no, it was all crap. It was all crap. We headed it away. They shit on the directors and tossed them under the bus.
And then they went and directed episodes of The Marvels, which didn't turn out so great either. So what do you say about that?
Well, the Marvels was not meant to be good in any way, shape, or form. It was never going to be.
Or I'm sorry, Ms. Marvel. I'm sorry.
That too.
Oh, I didn't watch that either. Did you? No.
I watched the first one. Because they said it was supposed to be like 90s nostalgia. And I'm like, wait.
90s nostalgia. She falls into a blockbuster, for God's sake. I mean, what else do you want in a movie? You got me at You had me at Blockbuster.
And you lost me at Brie Larson. So unfortunately, there we go. I'm not hating on Brie. I'm just making a joke. But you could clip that and ratio me. That's fine too.
It's not live. Fuck it.
But yeah.
God, it's not even 0 Point Night, and I just totally lost it with making fun of Brie Larson.
Well, you were getting to the point of Acme versus Coyote and like shelving Batgirl, and there's definitely opposing sides to the Batgirl argument. Like the people that I only know like one person who saw it, and I'm not going to say their name. I was told this in confidence. It's not good. It is not good.
Okay.
And I trust them.
All right.
And like I've heard from other people, it's not good. But like you never finish the movie. What's the worst problem with putting it out on a streaming service? You can't even do that. Like
no.
Finish the visual effects. It only needs $5 million more, from what I've heard.
Only.
Yeah, I know exactly. Hey, we're gonna bill you for like 25 more.
It's only 5 more. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but like honestly, at that point, like even if the special effects are crap, everybody watched The Flash. Everybody watched Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
I've
Special effects are crap.
I've not seen any of these films, Jeff.
Yeah, I know, and the special effects are shit. I won't even like try and negotiate that sort of situation. But like, if you're that concerned about the movie, put it on your streaming service because it doesn't do anything otherwise. You could still say it loses money. You could still get your tax write-off.
But it doesn't.
Everybody can
money.
only.
It doesn't lose enough money
for The Whale. I mean, Correct. What the hell are you doing? You're shit canning a Oscar winner's project. You could have gotten money from that alone.
They're losing money on the streaming to begin with. They're not making the money. They're not making the money. They can't. Nobody goes to the. When was the last time you went to the movie theater? Do you go to the movie theater, Jeff?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago to see Godzilla minus zero.
A non-American, non-Hollywood movie.
And then I'm going to see Dune in about 3 weeks.
Okay.
Or Dune 2.
Dune 2.
Which should be awesome.
That's sandworms. You hate Mars? Sandworms.
Steve, you just want a popcorn bucket that looks kind of naughty.
That is a terrible. What a terrible marketing thing that was. Did you see on the Tonight Show they brought them out and they handed them to these kids and said, "Here, have this popcorn." They're like, "Ugh."
Well, Chris Gore bought like 2 of them. And then he had it on one of his streams the other day, and I'm like, "Oh my god, dude! Having one is one thing, but you bought 2 so you can stash like your Dune swag in it. Oh no!" Everybody in the comments was like, "You gotta butter that popcorn with that bucket." It's like, "Oh no!"
You.
But no, it's unfortunate what they did with with Batgirl. I would have preferred that they, followed through and put it out somewhere just so everybody could see it, or direct-to-video. There used to be a time when direct-to-video worked very well for movies. Just ask Disney. But, that's not what David wanted to do. They felt like it would hurt the image of DC and Batman. And, oh, hey, this is prestige property. What are we doing putting this kind of a project out? Well, he's more of a numbers guy. He's not familiar with any of these concepts or properties. It's like, then why are you making these decisions for? So, I don't know.
And that decision, I think, was made like the first month that they owned Warner Brothers.
Within the first 2, I want to say.
Fair enough. Yeah, it was something really quick. It's like they just went on a 90-day spree of fucking things left and right.
Wow.
And then finally he was like, yay, we're done.
Get me my popcorn bucket.
I'm just gonna piss on all this.
Well, and to your point, like what's weird is they're killing the Coyote versus Acme, which from all accounts sounds like a good fun movie. Like you can't even test it with somebody. You're not even doing a test audience. You're just looking at it as an executive with like 5 other people, and you're all like, "This doesn't work for me. It's cancelled."
Yeah.
It's because they don't want people to actually see it. If it's actually seen anywhere, they don't get the insurance money.
That's it. It's just a numbers game. As frustrating as that is.
Batgirl
says it's an
digitally
insurance scam.
deleted.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's legal is baffling to me. Like they found a legal loophole to commit insurance fraud, and everyone's calling it insurance fraud. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah. I mean, how else do you try and recoup any sort of money with WBD? I mean, they tried to make a bid for WWE. They lost out to Netflix. Well, Netflix, here's a fun one for you because you got a Vince problem going on.
That's just shitty.
Jesus, Kevin.
I'm just saying, how much is $12 million really?
Well, that could be a 20-year contract for Netflix, actually, getting the WWE.
20 years.
Possibly. It could be extended to 20 years. It's a 10-year contract that could be extended to 20 if the numbers hold up.
That's the longest home that they've had in God knows how long. Other than Monday nights.
Well, yeah, they've been on USA Network since like 94.
Yeah, I think so. 93, 94. But anyway, Netflix is like, I don't know what they're planning with that. I know Max will show live events periodically throughout the week, like basketball and hockey games. So I don't know if Netflix is trying to follow suit.
Yeah, they're all jockeying for position. They're all trying to find their live event. What is the live event that people watch nowadays? Between Super Bowl, basketball, and wrestling, that's about it. Baseball is not even on the chart.
Not anymore.
No. So they're jockeying, trying to find their spot for that piece.
Yeah.
Speaking of Monday nights, Jon Stewart's coming back to the Daily Show on Monday. You excited about that?
Saucy topic.
That was a no. It's 2 no's.
No. It's not a no. I'm actually really happy about it. I don't watch the Daily Show because I just don't typically watch TV that's not like TV shows that we're supposed to be watching for the show. But I like Jon Stewart a lot. I like the way he kind of puts his neck out there to speak publicly and uses this comedy news show as actual news to point out how stupid our society is in a lot of ways.
That's the part that I'm absolutely in for, because I am a huge fan of Mel Brooks. That is Mel Brooks' way of communicating, was look at how stupid you are. Look at the racist thing that you're saying, and look how stupid you are for saying this. Stop it. His anti-racist writing, and Jon Stewart takes that same bent with his take on the news. Look at how stupid this is. We're going to go with comedy and give you all the information that you need. I'm all in on Jon Stewart on The Daily Show.
Yeah.
He's tailor-made for it. Like, I really liked him back when he was first on it, and then he went with Colbert onto, you know, his show, and he's written for him, and now he's coming back. So I'm more curious, like, is he going to keep the same kind of like style he used to have, or is he going to be a little more modern era Jon Stewart with how he's going to interact and be as a character on the show? Because he does play character to a point on the show.
Sure.
It's not exactly all 100% him, but I am pretty curious to see what we're going to get with him. It's certainly better than Trevor.
I enjoy Trevor's work as well, but there's no way that he holds a candle to Jon Stewart.
It's hard to follow that up after like Stewart, Colbert, even like fucking Kilborn from years ago. Like, they've
And
had
John
some
Oliver.
wonderful hosts through the years on the Daily Show, and it's just, oh man, how do you follow that up? But then you can't.
Right. John
It's
Oliver is about
completely
the
different
only
show.
one that has done a follow-up to Jon Stewart. The HBO John Oliver weekly show has done that type of comedy well.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of John Oliver, but I can see what he's doing and how he still has an audience. So
Bill Mayer's the one that I don't know how he still has an audience. Like even assholes don't like him.
Bill Maher on HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your
well,
hot
Bill
take-
Maher's kind of come around a little bit. So
I don't know. I'd still kick him in the junk after what he said about Stan Lee.
who wouldn't?
Say what you will about Jesus. Say what you will about my wife and kids, but you will not downtown Stan Lee in my fucking presence.
Not the rings, Randall. Not the rings.
It was just a movie about walking. 6 people fucking walking.
Even the trees walked in that movie.
That's good.
All right, I got one more. You got any more topics for us? I got one more.
No, go for it.
Mojo Nixon. Are you guys familiar with Mojo Nixon's work?
Only vaguely. Only
Elvis
Super
is
Mario
everywhere. Elvis is everything. Elvis is everybody. Elvis is still the king. One of those comedic musicians, ridiculous, self-described voice of the doomed, the damned, and the weird. As much as you know that I love Weird Al and his comedic music, Mojo Nixon was right there for me with just an example of what a thoughtful poet, comedian, musician could be. He passed away this week in the best way possible. What's your way you want to go, Jeff? How would you want to go?
I want to go while I'm sleeping. So
Okay, he was asleep. Step one. Kev, how do you want to go?
on LSD with hookers.
Mojo Nixon died while asleep on a cruise that he was hosting. A statement posted by his documentary film said he died after a blazing show, a raging night, closing the bar, taking no prisoners.
well, it sounds like he had a lot of sex.
Amen. That sounds like a way to go for me. If you're known for your lifestyle and you're on a cruise of your own hosting and you burn the place down, go to sleep and don't wake up, that sounds perfect to me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's
That's
pretty
a
much
hell of a way
everything
to
on the
go.
checklist.
Yeah. Exactly.
Was that on your bingo card, Kevin?
Not above LSD and hookers, no.
We're both right there on the list. The cruise was not on your list, but that's on my list. I love cruises.
And I wish I had a different answer now in hindsight. And I'm not the biggest fan of cruises. I've only actually been on one in my entire life, and that's one of Chris Jericho's Wrestling and Rager cruises. I was on the very first one, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I miss out on all the nerd cruises because it's musical season and I don't get to leave the state during musical season. But the Kevin Smith cruise is going on right. Not you, Kevin. That Kevin Smith, not
the real Kevin Smith.
The other Kevin Smith. That cruise is going on right now. The Star Trek cruise, I've still never gone on. The Jonathan Colton Joko cruise, my roommate from college has been on several times with all the celebrities that are on that cruise. One day I will step away from musical creation, producing, and I will go and just enjoy my life. And I have a checklist.
How long is the checklist, Steve?
I don't know that it's any longer than Mojo Nixon's, but it's not about length.
Oh,
it's
so
girth.
they say.
Sorry.
All right, boys. I am exhausted. It's Saturday night. Time to go burn the place down.
Yep, no problem. If I could ask you just one more question, Steve, where can people find you and tell everybody about your show?
Celebrating our 10th year of podcasting, TooMuchScrolling.com, 10 years, so many great guests. You guys have all been on the show. We've had so many great people around the world. We do a movie of the week and a book of the week. We talk about pop culture. We talk about some of the news that's happening in the world, but very, very little of it because it's a dark world out there. This is a dark timeline we find ourselves on. TooMuchScrolling.com. We're on all the social medias, such as they are, and every Tuesday something new.
I always tune in, and you always have great episodes. So thank you for joining us, Steve. We'd love to have you back around again anytime. You are always welcome here.
Thank you, Jeff.
Absolutely.
Kev, good seeing you.
Likewise, brother.
Butter. That's probably accurate.
Butter.
Get me my popcorn bucket.
All right, Steve. If you want to sign off, you can go ahead and remove yourself. We'll wrap up here in just a minute.
Good seeing you, boys.
Yep, good to see you, Steve. All right, Kevin, you got any other topics you want to get into, or you want to say goodbye to everybody and wrap it up in less than an hour?
That was all I had for the week. Like, the only other thing that happened was Miley Cyrus dressing up as Zool.
My eyes are bleeding. Oh my god, my eyes are bleeding. I'm wearing shades.
Sorry,
so
Skeets.
You can't see my eyes bleeding. We save Skeets. we save Skeets and we save Steve. We got a few different Steves that we might be having on soon, so don't be surprised that we call one Skeets and the other one Steve, and the other one Secret Agent Steve, and the other one Special Agent Bob.
And if I could say Skeet, I'm gonna say Skeet. So,
and special shout out to Skeet. You're dealing with something tonight, brother. We're sorry you couldn't make it with us, but you take care of yourself. We'll see you next time, buddy. All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. It's a short live stream, but we wanted to check out Saturday night, see how they work for everybody else. So if you liked what you saw and you enjoyed our conversation, please hit the like button, subscribe down below, put a comment below. What did you think of some of the topics we had tonight? And we will see you all on the next stream, and we will have that updated shortly on our schedule. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you screamers next time.